Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Terrace Life podcast. And today I'm joined by Terrace sponsored football player and goal machine, Natasha Thomas from Ipswich Town. Ladies, how the devil are you?
I'm really good, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad. It's a bit wet up in Yorkshire, which is crap because it's been hot and then wet. But other than that, apart from the weather, I can't complain. What about yourself? How was life down your neck of the woods?
Not too bad, very busy. As the weather here as well. It's not the best as what it was yesterday, but yeah.
Yeah, obviously, we're still in the midst of COVID. I'm sure everybody who's listening is aware of that, unless you've lived in a cave somewhere for a long period of time. Obviously, it's curtailed the football, so it's a good opportunity to come and have a chat with you about football. So I think the best place to start. When did you decide that you wanted to play football, and when did your love of football first sort of materialise?
So I started playing when I was really young. I used to go down the field with my brothers, and then obviously all their friends were there. I used to play cuppies. I played a lot of sports, but football was the one that I wanted to take on. I even got offered like scholarships for basketball and athletics, but I just wanted to take on football and pursue that.
Yeah, that's a bit of sort of a common theme running through, because I've interviewed quite a few footballers. A lot of them excelled at other sports and had other opportunities. I know I interviewed Emerson Boyce for the guys at the Terrace, FA Cup winner with Wigan. And he said on there he was a talented cricketer and had an opportunity to play cricket as well, being from Barbados, but he took up football instead. So was it always going to be football, or was there a temptation to go play basketball?
There was a temptation because obviously I'd have got paid straight away. Whereas football, obviously, even now in this day, we don't get paid at the moment. But because I just loved football so much and just really wanted to take upon it, I knew it was always going to be football.
So obviously going back to sort of modern day with COVID and all this type of stuff, how much has it killed you not having football? It's come back in the last couple of days, hasn't it? It's different for sure. Yeah. I watched the League Two playoffs last night, and it was definitely different. Could hear every player shout on the pitch because obviously there was no crowd noise. How much has it killed you having football taken away from you in this lockdown period?
I think it shows you sometimes you're like, I can't really bother to go to training, or do I need to go? And now I think there's not going to be any of that at all. I think we take it for granted sometimes. So I think it's probably been quite good for a few people to actually kick on and concentrate fully on their football and upping themselves. Yeah.
So going back to sort of the start, then did you aspire to be like any particular player? Did you have a particular hero as a youngster growing up that you kind of wanted to style yourself upon?
When I was younger, I didn't really watch football as such. I just loved playing it. So really, I looked up to my brother because obviously he used to take me down the field, do drills with me. But now I'd probably say maybe Messi, because obviously just the way he plays is outstanding, and he's just a phenomenal player, really.
Where do you sit on the Messi and Ronaldo debate then? Because that's the one that rumbles on. I think me and you might be in the same camp, because I've got to vouch for Team Messi. What about yourself?
Yeah, 100%. I think he's more of an all-rounder player rather than a certain style. I just love watching him play and hopefully interpret some of that into my game.
Yeah, absolutely. I could never interpret any of that into my game. I was like a centre-half clogger that looked like Bambi on ice when it came to actually trying to do a step over. In fact, so much so, my son plays now. He's 11, or he's coming up to being 11. And when we're doing drills in the garden or on the field, I can't show him step overs because I can't do it myself. I can kick it really far, head it, and tackle people. That's about the level of my expertise. So then, how did you get into the game then, Natasha? Because obviously you've had massive success at Ipswich Town. So, when did you first start playing competitively?
So in primary school, I've played since a young age, and then all the way through school, I've played in the boys' teams. Obviously got a little bit of stick at the start, but then they soon knew that I could play some football. So yeah, that is where it started, and then I went into an actual team outside of school, and it flourished from there.
Yeah, and obviously you find yourself now at Ipswich Town. I confirmed the statistics just before we came on. 90 goals in 111 appearances. Now, I'd class you as a goal machine with that one. So just talk me through how you got to Ipswich. And for the casual listener who may not know much about sort of women's football, or certainly lower league men's football, it's obviously part-time. Obviously, you're playing for a massive club in Ipswich. how did you get to Ipswich, and what unique, not problems, but what unique challenges does it bring being part-time?
Yeah, it is quite hard. I wanted to play for Ipswich for a while, but due to family not being able to drive, and me living in Lowestoft, which is just over an hour away, so it was quite hard to even commit to training. But Ralph persisted on getting me over to Ipswich, which I'm grateful for. So yeah, I did my driving lessons, and then started travelling down to Ipswich, and yeah, I've loved it. So I've kept it up, and although it's hard, obviously having a full-time job, sometimes working 6 days a week, and then travelling down to football straight away. But yeah, as soon as I get there, it's amazing, and you don't think that you've worked all day, and it's obviously nice to see the girls and the gaffer at the end of the day.
Yeah, again, for the casual listener who's not been around it is difficult. I mean, we talked briefly off air. I had a spell coaching in sort of non-league, and we were just having a chat then. Some of the travels sort of I had from Yorkshire over to Preston on a Tuesday night, and I remember one Yorkshire to Bishop Auckland on a Tuesday night. And then we got there and we were lacking a team. We were lacking a team because some of the lads were working and stuff, and we were playing Darlington, who had absolutely drugged us earlier on its season. And yeah, these are like the sort of unique differences to the professional game and the full-time game that you're having to work through day. And it's hard work, no matter what you do, to then motivate yourself to go to training and then motivate yourself to put 100% in. And particularly like yourself, if you've got a bit of a journey as well, an hour to get there. It's difficult, but how much of a great feeling was it that Ipswich Town, which is a big club, persisted in getting you to drive that hour and persisted in getting you over there?
I think it was obviously a good feeling because of how far away I lived. From a young age, I've never really had that many opportunities, so I just thought I had to take it, push myself, and just get to Ipswich as many training sessions as I could. Because at the start, I probably would have only gone to about 1 or 2 training sessions a week. But now I just always want to be there, even if I've been at work from 7 o'clock in the morning, don't get back till 10:30 at night, and then back up again at 7 o'clock in the morning for the next day. But yeah, I'm glad I've taken that step, and now I'm glad that I'm a big part of pushing for promotion and taking Ipswich Town to where they should and need to be.
Absolutely. So them days when you couldn't make it, did you do any football specific training at home to sort of try and keep yourself sharp?
At the start, I didn't. I'm not going to lie. But now you do realise you need to do those little bits at home. So I'm quite lucky that I've got a gym at home. I do quite a lot of fitness as it is with my new lifestyle change. So yeah, I do a lot more now than what I did when I was younger.
Yeah, and I think that is part of understanding the game a little bit as well, isn't it? I know, again, going back to when I was coaching in non-league, we were very keen on the lads, looking after themselves after the game, and they hated me for it, but I kind of tried to ban the post-match pint, and I was like, no, you don't need to be doing that anymore. Like, let's try and look after ourselves a little bit. And football's evolved, hasn't it, over certainly the last 15, 20 years, and like, people in the game at any level, a lot of it relies on being athletic and being able to physically put yourself about on the pitch. I trudged around in non-league, in Sunday league when I was playing, and that weren't the case at all. To be honest, so I can definitely see the difference. Just going back to the struggles then of being a part-time player, an hour away. I've got to mention them guys from the Terrace. They're obviously their names on the show. How much of a great support of as the guys at the Terrace been to you and your aspirations in your football career?
They're amazing. I can't express how grateful I actually am that they have chosen to sponsor me. It's not just them sponsoring me for the football, it's outside of that. They always check up on me, make sure I'm all good, especially with obviously what's going on in the uncertain time. So yeah, obviously they've sponsored my football boots. Cannot wait to get those on and hopefully score a few goals for them in them. But yeah, they've been phenomenal, and I'm so grateful to have them on board.
Yeah, absolutely. I asked them if they get me some football boots, not because I need them, I just fancied them. But they told me no, because I'd not scored 90 goals in 111 appearances, which is a fair one. I think I've scored 4 in 25 years, so that's that over and done with. Just moving on to your goal scoring then. Obviously, it's an absolutely incredible record. 90 goals in 111 appearances. I can't say exactly what the ratio is, but it's pretty high. is that something that came naturally to your game? Were you always a striker? Did you feel, because I've had this discussion with quite a few people, I think strikers and the ability to goal score is a natural thing. So if you look at people at the top of the game, you know, strikers who don't score a lot generally continue to not score a lot because don't come natural to them. Whereas you get, you know, natural finishers who can score. Would you say you were a natural finisher, or is it something that you worked at?
So I've always played as a striker or on the wing. So I've literally gone from playing for Waveney as a striker and then signed for Lowestoft Town, my home club. And then I was on the wing. And then obviously I came to Ipswich and Ralph was like, you are not a winger, you are a striker. So ever since then, I've played as a striker. And even when I was on the wing, I used to score at least 40, 50 goals a season when I used to play lower league. So, yeah, I think it's come naturally to me, but there's always places to work upon and obviously get that tally back up even more.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you were to describe your style then, you know, you as a striker, what would you say you are? You know, have you got a particular style that you think matches you?
I don't know. I don't think I would. I think I'm quite good at setting goals up as well. I can score with my head, take on players, score and shoot from distances. So it is just making sure I can carry that on and do as best as I can to get the ball in the back of the net.
You sound like you would be my arch enemy if I was still playing, because I liked a physical striker because I could be physical back. I hated the one who dropped off, ran at me, spun in behind, and tried to take me on all the time. I absolutely hated that. It's like I said before, I've got the turning circle of the Titanic anyway. So yeah, I hated people like that just because he was constantly looking over his shoulder to find out where they were again. I much preferred somebody who tried to stand on my toes, grab hold of my shirt and try and rough me up a bit, because at least I knew where they were. I hated people who spin in and take shots from weird areas, and like people like you, really. I would hate playing against you, I think. So.
I think that is like with quite a lot of our players. So we've got Peskett and Anna, they're absolute machines and they could probably take on the whole team. So I think quite a lot of teams do dread to play us, which is a good thing. And Joe pursues that within us. He just makes us not be fearless, and that makes us play at the best that we can be. So I'm glad that he's brought that into our game.
Yeah, and it's obviously why we play football, for excitement and enjoyment and expressing yourself. It is a bit of an art form to not be too cheesy about it. And you know, fans want to see players doing that, even just taking a risk. You know, like I wish I had £1 for every time I saw a winger from my club and I stood up and shouted, get at him or take him on, just because that's what you want to see. You want to get out of your seat and see excitement, don't you? That's why we play, even though I could never provide much excitement. And that's why we watch the sport. So a bit more about Ipswich then. So a big club, and I'm led to believe that the female side and the male side are quite close together, or the club kind of look after both together. What's that been like to be sort of working closely with the men?
It's been really good. There's just so much more support there. As they say, one club, one team, and it really is. There's just so much support. We get Lambert come in, see us at training sessions, pop in the changing room at half time to give us the support. I mean, you see some of the players come and watch us as well, and that is just a big lift for all the girls. Because obviously we go and watch them, but you don't expect them to come and watch you. But it really does show how much we are kicking on as Ipswich Town and the talent that we've got and what people want to come and see. So yeah, it really is one club. Yeah,
Lambert then as a bloke, what's it been like with you guys? Is he come in and read the right act at all, or does he kind of leave that to your gaffer and just drops little tidbits in when he needs to?
Yeah, I think he leaves it to our gaffer because obviously Joe is doing absolutely amazing. So obviously he doesn't need to change that, or not change that, like give us more information, because Joe knows what he's doing. He knows the goals for the club and the aspirations. So yeah, he's kicking us onto good places.
Yeah. Do any of the lads have you worked closely with any of the lads? Have you had any sort of hints and tips from any of the strikers at Ipswich at the minute in the men team?
Yeah, so I speak to Norwood here and there. He's quite a good support. I thought I was having a bit of a drought, so I gave him a message and he gave me some information to get me going. And the next game I scored a goal straight away, and then from there I just kept on scoring, as you can see from my tally.
Yeah. How much of them droughts is a mental thing for a striker? Because, you know, you see it in every level of the sport, don't you? Like people who are goal scorers who suddenly just hit this really strange drought and just nothing seems to go in. And like, I obviously, I've got a podcast for the team I support, which I'm not allowed to mention too much on the podcast because the guys at the Terrace get monk on with me. But, you know, we coin the phrase all the time that they just need one to go in off their arse or the back or something and just get the hoodoo off the back and just get it in the net and then it's done and they can kind of move on. So, you know, obviously you spoke to Norwood, but what it just one of them where you're thinking if I just keep working hard, keep getting in the positions, it'll go in for me eventually.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for a striker is, yeah, you're there to be scoring the goals, but at the same time, I think one of my best games is where I haven't actually scored a goal. And the gaffer came up to me and said, just because you haven't scored doesn't mean you haven't had a good game. And that really stuck with me. So now I'm just playing my absolute heart out. If I don't score, I don't score. We just need to win the games. And I just want to make sure I put everything out on the pitch.
Yeah, and obviously contribute for your team, but from a personal point of view, you obviously want to be scoring goals as well as a striker. Oh, yeah. It's what you thrive off as a striker. Just a bit more than broad about the female game in general. Obviously, we've seen a full-time league sort of appear in the female game. Do you feel that has benefited further down the pyramid for in terms of talent and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think with having that, it's made a lot of younger girls aspire to be at that level. So many more people are just wanting to aspire, bring up their game so they can be playing at that level. So yeah, and I think even the teams that are lower down, you could just see how much talent is coming through, even from the RTCs within Ipswich. So I definitely think with years to come, football is going to be very, very good for the women's game.
Yeah, good. And obviously, it's had a lot more. It's been pushed a lot more into sort of mainstream media, hasn't it? We've seen obviously the Women's World Cup being shown on telly and stuff like that. And yeah, it can only be good for the game as a whole, can't it? And sort of boosting the talent that is there. And hopefully one day we might see a successful national team. Better than the men for a start, which is not difficult, to be honest. So away from football, then I can see you looking around for your dog that's barking there.
Sorry,
you know it's fine. They're brilliant. So what do you like to do? You mentioned you've obviously got a little bit sort of a lifestyle change and a fitness and lifestyle page. Just wanted to tell us a little bit about that and why that came about.
So me personally, I just wanted to up my game a little bit more. I didn't realise, because I never used to really eat breakfast or eat very healthily. I just thought, I don't really need to fuel my body with anything. I can just get on the pitch and do what I do. But you actually realise at the end of the day, if you're fueling your body with good nutrients, then you're going to be playing a lot better and you'll be able to switch on and be more active on the ball.
So that was the sort of so again, football was the sort of motivating factor then for the lifestyle change and sort of just being a bit more mindful of what you eat and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Not even that, even like say when I'm not playing football anymore, when I'm a little bit older, I want to be able to pursue that even more and carry that on, helping others as well. So yeah.
Yeah, because obviously a lot of things that people don't realise is such silly things like sleep has a massive effect on your body. I mean, we all know when you get out of bed that morning, you think, "Oh, I need a coffee because I feel a bit sluggish." But it's not ideal for an athlete, obviously, who's trying to play at the very top of the game. Any other pastimes then away from football? You know, do you watch football now? Are you a bit more of an avid watcher, or you know, have you got other things away from the game that let you switch off from it?
Yeah, no, I love watching football just because I can see how other strikers play, maybe add that into my game. I've got a home gym, as I said, so I work out in the gym. Just obviously got my dog, so I'll always be taking her out and things. So yeah, just family, friends outside of football, which is quite nice.
Yeah, so the extra guest we've got on, your dog, what kind of dog have you got? What's she called?
She's a Labrador. She's called Lexi.
I bet she keeps you on her toes. How old is she?
She's just over 1 now, bless her. So she's been spayed, so that's why she's a bit barking at the moment, bless her.
Yeah, as I said just before we came on, I've got two. I've got a beagle and a sprocker. I don't know why I did that because I must be mad. But yeah, they do keep you busy for definitely.
Oh yeah, it's just I think it's just trying to keep her calm because she's such a lively little girl. She just wants to be bouncing around everywhere. But obviously, I've got to keep her quite quiet and timid. But she ain't having any of it.
It doesn't matter. Another thing I noticed from looking at your Instagram page and doing a bit of research on yourself, few tattoos, and I always like to chat about ink, being fairly inked myself. Are you addicted yet? Because it is an addiction. I don't care what anybody says.
I wouldn't say I'm addicted. I'll probably get my leg finished off, fill in all the gaps, but I'll probably be finished by then. But yeah.
I'm terrible. Literally, if it wasn't for the profession that I'm in, I think I'd be absolutely covered in them. Because obviously I hide. I'm able to hide mine at the moment with long sleeves or whatever. But I think if I didn't do a professional job that I do, I'd probably have my hands done and my neck done because something weirdly addictive about them. I'm not sure what it is. And I was a bit late to the party. I was like 27 before I started getting tattooed because I was in the military before, and the tattoos are quite a big thing in the military. And I managed to get through my entire military career without having a single tattoo. And then I started, and now I can't stop. And my wife keeps telling me I need to give it up at some point and grow up. She tells me so. That's what I see. So in the game, then Natasha as an absolute goal machine, and I read an article in I think it was The Guardian. About your cup game against Man City, and you was quoted as one of the hottest properties outside of the Women's Premier League. So what's the future look like for Natasha Thomas then? Have you got any dreams and aspirations of what you want to achieve in the game?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I want to stay with Ipswich, get them up to the WSL, and yeah, hopefully be playing at the highest league possible that we can as a club and as a player.
So I'm sure Ipswich Town fans will be absolutely loving hearing that from you, that you want to stay with them and go. There were some interest in you, I believe, weren't there, from a team slightly higher up earlier this season, or before the season got curtailed?
Yeah, so they were going to pay me, but of course you want to be getting paid, but I'm just enjoying my football so much at the moment, and hopefully we can push to being at that stage of where players can be paid, but as a player, we've got to make sure we're giving the supporters what they want to see and hopefully bring more people through the door. So, yeah, we just got to keep pushing and aspire to where we want to be for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very honourable because there's very little loyalty in football anymore, but I'm sure Ipswich Town fans will love that. Right, so the next segment, before we have any guests on, we offer out fan questions on Twitter. We do vet them first, just so there's nothing too silly in there. But we did get a few in for you, so we're going to go through the fan questions, starting with a person you might know, Terrace Craig. Following your new lifestyle fitness page is something you want to do going forward, and how nice are your new boots?
Yeah, it's definitely something I want to be good do going forward. I want to just make myself better as a person as well as a player. And yeah, the boots are absolutely amazing. I can't wait, obviously, to get them on and score some goals for you guys in them and get your name out there even more.
Adidas boots, I believe.
They are Adidas boots, yeah.
Only ever wore Adidas, or do you have a particular, have you dipped into other brands?
Yeah, I've dipped into other brands. I was previously sponsored by Concave last season, but unfortunately because of COVID, they've had to drop out on a few sponsors. But yeah, I've always wore different kind of boots anyway. I've wore from Nike, New Balance, but Adidas. I've always loved Adidas because it's just the brand, and obviously, as Ipswich Town, we have Adidas kit.
Yeah, I know when I played, I always used to wear Nike only because, and this is really random, I think I've got wide feet, and Adidas weren't very comfortable, whereas Nike were a bit wider fitting. Anyway,
Yeah.
No, that's all about. I've got a boot story actually. I played in Sunday League, so quite very far down the pyramid. And I bought some gold Nike Tempos from JD Sports that cost me the grand total of £7. I spent at least 8 games injured from getting nobbled by people who thought I was trying to be a show off by wearing gold boots. I was like, no, literally, if I could paint them black, I would, but I can't, and they were cheap. So that's it. On to the next question then, from at Barry, Ipswich Town Football Club man on Twitter. What first got you into football, and what other sports do you enjoy playing? Obviously, we've covered that a little bit. Do you still play any other sports, or is it just purely football now?
It is purely football. When I was at school, I used to obviously play rounders, football, basketball, all of it, like after school. But yeah, at the moment, it is all just football, just due to time, really. If I had more time on my hands, obviously, I work full time. But yeah, it is just football.
Next question from Mark Carter. I'm not going to try and mention his Twitter ID because it could be for some time. Who was your favourite footballer growing up, and also now? So you mentioned Lionel Messi. Is he still the aspiration now, or do you look at anybody else and think maybe them?
No, I think still Messi. Just as I said, how he plays, his style of play. Obviously, he's an absolutely phenomenal player. He's the best of the best. So I always strive to be best of the best. So that's why he is my favourite player.
Yeah, good. Sam Bishop on Twitter @Bish25. Has Norwood given you any shooting tips earlier this season? And can you give him some pointers on 1v1s? Norwood can take the banter, apparently. Jokes aside, how was the Man City game? We really look like we're building a squad for the future.
No, yeah, with Norwood, there is a bit of banter there, but he is a phenomenal striker. Obviously, he has been injured through last season, so let's see him hopefully back up and running properly for the season to come. And then what was the second question, sorry?
How was the Man City game?
It was such an amazing experience. As obviously Man City, they are full-time players, and that is something for all of us to aspire to and try to get to be able to then put football in full-time rather than part-time plus a full-time job. But it was absolutely phenomenal experience. I mean, the pitch was amazing and the crowd were phenomenal. So yeah, they really steered us on, even no matter what the scoreline was. They were there for us.
Any nerves going into that, or was it just purely excitement?
I think nerves definitely, but excitement at the same time. But as soon as the whistle went, I think you will just zone in and you forget about those nerves.
Yeah, are you someone who suffers from nerves sort of week in, week out while playing?
Before the game, yeah, everyone knows. I'm quite quiet sometimes, or I'll just be nervous until the whistle blows, and then it's just like I totally zone out and football straight in. And yeah, I think it makes me play better, really, that I'm nervous before. So it gives me a bit of an edge. But yeah, I'm definitely nervous before games, even if it's not a big game or whatnot. Every game I will probably be nervous for.
Yeah, just the reason I bring that up is, and again, I'm not trying to liken myself to you because you played far better standard than I ever did, but I was always nervous before games, no matter who we were playing, always nervous.
Yeah.
Even I've always been nervous before everything, even like when I had fitness tests in the military, nervous before them. Don't know why, I knew I could pass them. And I think, and it took me a lot of time, now I'm a little bit older, to try and dial it in. It's just because you're proud of what you're doing, you don't want to let anybody down, including yourself. So you get a bit of nerves. So I think it's a good thing, yeah.
Definitely.
I draw the line of the story of Alex Bruce, obviously ex-Ipswich player who used to be sick before every game because he was that nervous. But moving on to the next one then. Gavin Jones, at Gavin John Jones. Did you always know you want to be a football? And what message do you have for young girls who really want to choose this as a job?
So yeah, as I said, I've always wanted to play football. There has been other options, but football is definitely what I've wanted to pursue. Not only that, it makes me feel good. If I've got something going on, as soon as I hit that football pitch, it just goes out of your mind. But me personally, just strive for what you want. If you want to be a footballer, go and get it. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. You stay in your lane and get to where you want to be in life. And if that is wanting to be a professional footballer, then go and get it.
Yeah, good advice. Next one, again, somebody we both know, at Terrace Paul, and I'm going to have to cut his short a little bit because we've been asked the same question 3 times. Do you have anybody you look up to in the female game? So, for example, Tony Duggan, Casey Stoney, Rachel Yankee, or anybody else?
Lucy Bronze. She's such a machine. I mean, she's just so powerful, and bringing that into your game, obviously, is very good. But yeah, I do love watching her play. Hopefully, she'll be back in England playing soon. So, yeah, I do love watching her play out of the women's game.
Cool. Next question. After Extra Time Shirts on Twitter, What's your favourite football kit? Great question. I love that.
Well, because I've never really supported anyone, I've had quite a few different kits. But when I was younger, it has to be the Barcelona kit. I think it was the early 2000s. But yeah, I used to always wear that to my training, even if I should be wearing my actual training kit. I used to always turn up in my Barcelona shirt.
Do you think, and we've had this discussion with the other guys from the Terrace on a previous podcast, do you think that football shirts have become a little bit boring now? I know you mentioned that Barcelona shirt, and I think I may have, well, no, actually, mine's from like 97. I've got a Barcelona shirt from 97. Do you think football kits have got a bit boring and bland now?
Yeah, I think they're getting more plain, aren't they? I don't know whether it's because they want the name to be out there more rather than the colour on the shirt or the pattern. But yeah, they are getting a bit plain. So hopefully when our kit's announced, it'll be a bit out there, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, you're never going to please everybody, but
no.
Yeah, I'm like you. I think they should be expressive. Next question then, and the last question from Terrace, Rob. And we've kind of answered this a little bit earlier on. Is your playing position for Ipswich Town your preferred position, or would you like to play any other positions? You obviously covered that a little bit earlier on, that you want to be a striker. Do you see yourself playing anywhere else, or as your career goes on and on and on, do you think you could do a job in midfield?
I'd love to play midfield as well, but at the moment, striker is where I want to play. You've got so many phenomenal players in midfield. So yeah, striker at the moment is definitely where I want to stay and pursue for my future.
Oh, very good. So that's it. Fan questions over and done with. Now back to you before we kind of wrap up. Obviously, we talked about the top of the show. We're lockdown-ish kind of now a bit. Is there any whispers of you getting back training, some social distancing training? Has that started yet, or is the plans in place for you to get back training?
So we've been doing Zoom HIIT sessions twice a week with quite a few of the girls. So obviously we've been trying to keep some fitness in there. We've had challenges of doing 1K, 3K and 5K runs before we get back. So that's been quite good. I think there is talks this Friday, I believe, to when the league may start, may not start, but it's all just in the air at the moment. So hopefully we'll be back maybe end of July, just depending on how things are, because everything's changing each day. But we'll carry on doing our bits at home. And yeah, obviously we can't wait until we actually can get a football at our feet. But yeah, fitness is a big part of it. So yeah, we've been doing quite a lot of bits at home.
Yeah, and I would imagine you're absolutely chomping at the bit to add to your tally, add to that very, very impressive record. I'm kind of hoping that next time we get together and have a chat for the Terrace podcast again, your appearances maybe have overtaken by your goals. I'd love to have the next chat where it's 170 goals and 158 appearances. That would be pretty damn impressive. That kind of brings us to an end. Natasha, a massive thanks for your time. I do realise that obviously people have lives and things to do, so thanks very much for coming and chatting to me. For the guys at the Terrace, a big thanks to everybody who's listened. Please share it, like it, give us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever else you listen to, and listen to the previous episodes if this is your first one. If you're a casual Ipswich Town fan and you've come in to hear from Natasha, the goal machine, then listen to the other ones. There's some other good ones in there. And again, a big thanks to you, Natasha, for your time, and the very best of luck for when you get back. I'll be keeping an eye on your career from afar. So thanks for your time and take care.
No, thank you very much. Cheers for having me.
No worries.